got to feel like last week's win against New Orleans took everything they possibly had physically and emotionally to make happen. And the only chance that Cleveland has here is if Baltimore comes in and just can't muster it up again right after the big win in New Orleans. But like we talked about, they own this team. They beat them by 7 or more points in the last 5 games. This is a 3.5 line that just feels like it's a late Christmas present. So probably the best thing to do is stay a hell away from this game.
Yeah, and one thing is that early in the season, in week number 3, after Baltimore won 10-9 at the New York Jets to start the season, then they lost. They got upset at Cincinnati 15-10. Then they came home, and I remember we had talked about it on the show. They were laying 12.5 points against Cleveland. We thought this was the game. They're going to destroy Cleveland. They jumped out to the big early lead. And then they allowed Cleveland. They kept the back door open. Browns took advantage of it. Ended up 24-17, the Brownies getting the easy cover in this game. But I like last week, and you've mentioned it many, many times here, that the Ravens are a team that really didn't have an identity offensively. Suddenly last week they decided, hey, we got Ray Rice. We're going to let him pound the ball through the tackles. And he had a season-high 153 yards, and he also was so dangerous. I think he had 80 yards as a receiver out of the backfield as well. If they go to that, I think they became a little infatuated with the fact that, hey, we've got all these fancy wide receivers. We've got Anquan Bolden. We got Joe Flacco. Let's throw the ball all the time. But this is the time of the year, and in the playoffs, you don't win unless you're able to run the ball. Very rare that you get not just passing teams, pure passing teams, with the exceptions of the Peyton Manning-led Colts, Drew Brees-led Saints, and even the Saints, could run the ball somewhat effectively.
Absolutely.
This time of year, you got to be able to run.
I agree.
So that's an interesting game. I mean, right now you're looking at 3.5. I would say go ahead and buy down the half point on Baltimore and go ahead and lay it if you're going to play it, because I don't see any way that the Cleveland Browns win this game. How about Houston and Denver?
Lay it if you're going to play it. I got to write that down. You're getting like me now.
Yeah, well,
we could be like a crew. We could be like a rapping crew here. I can get it and bet it. You can lay it and play it. We got a whole thing going on.
It's scary what we come up with in this show. Let's talk about Houston and Denver. I would think it's safe to say that Gary Kubiak is going to be unemployed here in a matter of a couple of weeks, because this was the year of so much promise for the Texans, as have the last 2 years been. And once again, they're sitting on the sidelines here as the postseason bursts have been decided here in the past few weeks. That's what happens when you lose 7 of your last 8 games. Yet they're coming into this game as a 3-point favorite against Denver Broncos, going with Tim Tebow. A lot of press obviously involving Tebow. He started last week against Houston or Oakland on the road. It's not like he played that well. 8 of 16, 138 yards.
But no
passing.
one's more excited than this guy.
Yeah,
I mean,
78
this guy is
yards
the most
rushing.
Excited guy I've ever seen. This is one of the most boring games that'll ever be played. You got 2 teams that are really bad, going nowhere, doing nothing, except for Tebow. To Tebow, this is like the Super Bowl. And I think that may give Denver
the home debut for Tebow.
A little bit of an advantage here, because they're actually going into this game and going to feed off the energy of that quarterback and maybe forget for just a second how bad they really are.
I mean, in terms of personnel, defensively, neither one of these teams have a defense.
No.
But, Denver's a little better, and that's hard to believe. And, I mean, Houston hasn't. I mean, Houston is a favorite here. You're making Houston a road favorite here, and this is a team that's failed to cover 8 of its last 10 games.
Yeah, I don't get it.
I
just think the perception of Houston with them having a lot of, comebacks that fell short at the end of the games, people seeing that. I mean, I think they think that Houston may be better than they are.
Yeah, I would definitely go with Denver here. Would I put my own money on it? Are you kidding me?
No.
I wouldn't put your money on it.
Yes, you would.
Yeah, well, probably. That's, and one of the last games on the board, the San Diego-Cincinnati contest. The Chargers, again, another huge December run here for them. One little wrinkle on their schedule when they got upset at home by the Oakland Raiders, but still the Chargers are certainly on a roll here. Phillip Rivers in the month of December, 20-1. Straight up, 20 out of 21 wins, 14-7 against the spread, and they have scored 29 or more points in 6 of their last 7 games. So the offense is certainly humming here, and they've won 6 of their last 7 straight up and against the spread as well. The Cincinnati Bengals, I said early in the year that they're a fraud. All year long, they decided they wanted to be a passing team with T.O. and Chad Ocho, and yet Carson Palmer, clearly his skills have diminished. Last week, suddenly, Cedric Benson, was given the ball a season-high 31 times, and he rushed for a season-high 150 yards. Duh. You know, Benson early in the year said they got to be a running team because their offensive line is more built for straight-ahead run blocking, not a pass protection team. But, of course, you had T.O. and Chad Ocho doing their national show. They've never asked us on their show. I just don't know why. They're doing their national show saying they got to throw the ball. They're criticizing Marvin Lewis because of his offensive philosophy. They're not throwing the ball enough. The Bengals have to run to be successful. That's all it is. I don't think it matters here. T.O.'s gone. He's out with the knee injury. Benson can run the ball 31 more times here, but the Chargers are going to win this game.
And a lot of people are looking at this game and thinking, well, San Diego's got to come all the way from the West Coast to Cincinnati. But, guys, that doesn't apply here. It's a 4 o'clock game. So it'll feel like 1 o'clock for them. Great. When you have those 1 o'clock games with the West Coast teams, it feels like 10 in the morning. Sometimes that causes a problem. That's not going to be the situation here. San Diego minus the 7.5 points. Guys, don't be scared of the obvious sometimes. You got to play the obvious sometimes. San Diego, the obvious winner here. I'd play them.
I'm 100% in agreement with you. And also, keep in mind that the Chargers, yes, they have to make the road trip, but they played on Thursday last week. So they have the extra 3 days of prep time. And when you have that late in the season, that's almost like a bye week.
Yeah, well, this Cincinnati team reminds me of Roberto Duran. Right now. No mas.
Yeah, definitely have no heart. And listen, Marvin Lewis, I don't know. The guy turned down a contract extension last year. Might not have been a wise financial decision by Marvin, because Marvin's going to be joining Gary Kubiak and a bunch of others on the unemployment line.
There's going to be a lot of golf playing.
Yes. Hey, remember, guys, if you've missed any portion of today's show, you can catch it in its entirety, all 60 minutes, over at picknation.com. And again, in our final couple of minutes here, let us remind you that you can go right now to picknation.com and take advantage of the free one-day all-access pass.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's something that no other company does, where they actually let their customers come in, potential customers and customers alike, if they haven't taken part in it before. And we actually allow you to come and see every single handicapper, all the analysis, all the plays. You can look and see which one you like, find your hot handicapper. Some guys like to ride one handicapper all season long. Other guys take advantage of the honesty and integrity with our site, where every day they can actually trust the site so that they know when a certain capper claims to be on a 7-game run, that he's actually on a 7-game run, because he's got thousands of package players that have bought him over the months, and they wouldn't let him lie. So so you can't lie. We've built a platform where everything is real, and when you can trust the site, that allows you to navigate the streaks and always ride the hot handicapper. So that's the second type of guy. And then the third type of guy loves to buy the all-access pass. He gets everyone's opinion, plus he listens to the radio show, plus he calls his friends. He gets everybody he knows, and then he hears everything and makes his own decision which one jives with his opinion. A lot of guys love the all-access pass because of that reason.
Right, because they almost use the all-access pass as a consensus. They might like the Chargers against the Bengals, and if they see 4 of the 4 handicappers among the 13 handicappers are on the Chargers as well, that's that positive confirmation they need, just a little push over the ledge to go in and make their wager. Because I think most gamblers, I would say, just based on my personal experience of 25 years in this business, I would say probably 85-90% of the gamblers out there have a solid opinion. They're just not 100% sure. And although there's no guarantees in gambling, they're looking for the professional advice to kind of guide them in the right direction. Very few of them come in here and just say, I don't know, team A to team B, and I'm just going to bet blindly whatever you say.
I keep thinking that the Betsy over here is like a hippie, because she keeps throwing a peace sign at me. It's actually the 2 minutes. I just figured that out. There must only be 2 minutes left of the show. Peace, Becky.
But, yes. Oh, boy, I'll tell you where this show goes sometimes in the closing minutes. You just never have any idea. But again, go to picknation.com. Take advantage of the free one-day all-access pass. And by the way, guys, tons of college football action here in the next week and a half. I do a daily video report every day. You don't have to register. You don't have to sign up. You just go to the site, click on my picture, and you get my daily video report. I break down all of your bowl games every single day. Look at my record with my free picks, not just the ones I'm giving away, betting, but my free picks, a phenomenal record. So watch the daily video report and get your free college bowl winners as well. Steve, one more show to go next week, and that'll do it for the season. We'll catch you all again next week on the Pick Nation Report.